In this tutorial, I'll show you how to install XAMPP for NetBeans IDE 11.3 on Windows 10. So what is XAMPP is Apache distributions, comes with Apache web server, then MySQL, PHP and Perl and others. So main idea here, we are going to use MySQL and also each to use. So I'm going to use this XAMPP distributions. Eventually I will show you how to use JDBC, Java development for the database. This is important, the warnings, it just say that you cannot use user account control. But I will show you how to deal with that later on. Here the gray one means you must install. I don't use Perl. And then I will turn it off, some of them. So I'm going to have Apache, MySQL and PHP. And then PHP MyAdmin. That's the installation directory. Again, I don't need that. Next. It's going to take a few minutes to install. Actually, XAMPP comes with MariaDB. That's the open source database based on MySQL. So pretty much is comparable between MariaDB or MySQL. So here in XAMPP, many times it shows up with MySQL. Actually, we are using MariaDB. In practice, it doesn't really matter. It's comparable. And then IDE comes with support for relational database management system like MySQL or PostgreSQL or other database management system or DBMS. When you do Java development with a database, you don't need another tool to deal with the graphic user interface. You can just continue using NetBeans, then you can browse your database. You can test it. You can select a certain record if you want to. Then it's easy to use. So that's why I'm using NetBeans with the MySQL. Okay. This is not the best way to launch control panel, but let's say as it is. Start Apache web server, MySQL. Then we need to open PHP MyAdmin. The configuration file has to be changed later on. Let's click admin. And then here we type PHP MyAdmin. So this is a PHP MyAdmin. If you're using PHP, you already know. So main idea here, we go to user accounts. Then root, this is administrator account for PHP MyAdmin. Let me change. Because it comes with no password, so let me just add some password. I'm typing root pass. Type twice. And then say click go. So we set the password. Let me go back to home page. Try to connect. So we go to here PHP MyAdmin. Let's set root password. Just type root pass or whatever you want. Save it. So this time let me refresh. Now it's okay. That means I already logged in with the same password. I'm going to use a test database for demonstrations. Instead of using root password, let me add new user number 1. The host name I will use localhost. Then password I will say pass1. localhost means reporting to your own machine. So we are not doing remote access, okay? So data and structure, I will select them all. No admin, no resource limits. Click go. So we just add one user to test database. You can exit PHP MyAdmin. So as you can see here, user one is added to a database called test. In order to use MySQL with NetBeans, you need JDBC driver, okay? Or we call it as a Java database connectivity. So you need Java kind of driver between Java and then MySQL. Download platform independent. You can just say no thanks. Just start my download. So this is what I have. I'm going to keep it in the same place. Under program files and Java. So here I'm going to keep it together on JPIT. Continue. Okay, if you look at inside, there's a MySQL connector Java 8.0.20. Okay, that's what we need. That's what we call as a driver. So here is the main part of this demonstrations driver. You go to C drive, Java, and then this connector, open. So here you driver class, okay. So that's what we have, okay, customize or connect using. The password I had was a root pass. You type it. You can test connections. Again, this is a very common problem with MySQL. I'm on different time zone. Okay, if you see this message, so if you are on different time zone, you may to use a parameter called server time zone equal to UTC, universal time zone. Okay, that way it will work. Okay. If you don't see the error message, then you might be in a UTC zone. Good for you. Let me have another one. Here, instead of using MySQL, there's a system database. I'm going to use a test, and then user 1, and then pass 1. Let me test it. Don't forget, you need to set the server time zone. Okay. Here's the message. That's the last one. I just copy paste it on screen. There are different ways. If you don't want to type it, you just go to collection properties. Here, add properties. You can say server time zone. Then you can type UTC. Okay, try again. Test connections. It actually works. So you can put it in time zone in JDBC URL, or you can set it as a collection property. It's up to you. I prefer this way because the URL looks shorter on my screen. Okay, click. This is the database now called it as a test. I don't have any tables at this point. Okay. So let me create a table. I will type it. We're using SQL query. or SQL statement. So let's say create a table. I prefer to type leaderboard in capitals. It is not necessary, but I prefer to type that way. So employee is your own name. Employee number, I say NO, bar chart. Name is up to 25 characters long and then not null. Age. And then let's say gender. So we have age and then gender, one character, male and female for MMF. Sorry, MOF. Address part, let's make it short, 25 characters long. You don't really need a semicolon at the end of statement. Just click that one. Say no rows affected. That's normal, okay? So here, right hand side mouse click, view data. Then it will give you a statement called select all from the employee table. It means employee table is already created. Let me insert some dummy data or dummy record. If you know exact name of the columns, you don't have to say insert into employee and then number and so on. You can just say values employee E0001. I said 6 characters long, so 6 character. So let's say Andrew, 21 years old, male, address I will just say New York. Again, up to you whether you like to have a semicolon at the end or not. Let me copy, paste it, minor change. I assume that you are already familiar with SQL or SQL. If you're not familiar with it, this one basically saying we are adding one record for each line. So one row affected 3 times, we add 3 records, okay? Each statement represents one record in database. View data. Here you go. There is a table behind, okay? This is the one. There are 3 records. 1, 2, 3, and the actual column name is second, start from second one, NO, name, age, gender, and address. You can update, let's say update employee. Normally you have to use what you like to update. So we'll say set, let's say we update the name column. You can set a value. So here I will say Jenny. Then condition where number is equal to, let's say E0002, semicolon. So you can run that script. Say affected, that means it worked. There's no problem with syntax. So here, view data. Second person changed from Jennifer to Jenny, okay? So idea is we can use update statement. Let's use delete. Again, we normally have to say where, otherwise it's going to delete everything. So we say where condition here saying that number, employee number is equal to E0003. We are going to remove Joe's record. Let's have a look. So George is no longer there, okay? So let me think, is there anything I can cover? But if you look at here, even though I keep saying MySQL, but it is actually MariaDB. It means it is comparable. But if you look at here, like MySQL, it actually uses MySQL driver for PHP. I know it's confusing, but main idea is MariaDB is pretty much comparable with MySQL because it's open source. So you can download MariaDB collector for Java. That's J stands for Java. And we are going to download 2.6.0. That's the latest version. Java compression file. Don't worry about this warning. We like to keep it. So let me quickly demonstrate to you MariaDB. That's what we are using at this point. So let me copy paste it to Java installation directory. Then I'm going to use that driver instead of MySQL. So here, let me create a new one. Not that one up there, MariaDB. The driver class, okay, MariaDB, it says the MySQL compatible. Okay, let's connect to database. Here, try to remember, okay, MySQL, I will say test, user1, user1. You don't really have to worry about server time zone. It doesn't have a problem with MariaDB JDBC collector. Again, it's okay. You don't have to type it. Only MySQL has a problem with that. Finish. So we have a collections with MariaDB. As you can see, we have 3 connections to 3 different databases. So let me disconnect. So this one we are using MariaDB collector for Java. So here you go. Okay. We are browsing same database called test using different JDBC driver. So if you prefer to use MySQL, please go ahead with the MySQL driver. But you happen to using with the MySQL driver, you got to be careful if you have different time zones. Here, I just found out that when you launch XAMPP controller as a normal user, you may have this warning. Okay. So this is not difficult to fix. Okay. What you need to do is go back to your XAMPP installation directory, controller, properties, comparability. Here, run this program as an administrator. That's it. That's why at the beginning of installation, it gives you a warning. You have to do something about UAC. So double click. You just start it. Then you don't need it anymore. You stop. Let's see when you exit, what happens. Nothing happens. Okay, that's how you fix that problem. In this tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate how to use database with NetBeans. Then there will be a series of SQL or SQL statements. Let's see. The first thing you need to do is you have to load JDBC driver or database driver so that you can connect your Java application to your database. So let me start with loading JDBC driver. So for this case, I'm using MySQL or MariaDB. It's the same thing. So class here, say for name, that's the method. We can specify driver name. You need to look at the driver manual. It's quite different from one company to another. So Java, here we will say MySQL. New driver has additions called CJ.JDBC and driver. Used to be MySQL, JDBC and driver. Now we have CJ. And here it says that you need to do exception handling because you are loading additional driver or class. If the driver is not available and your program unexpectedly terminated, that means you have to do exception handling. That's why we have a try and catch, okay? So let me put it there, keep it outside. So we have a try and catch. So let me try to learn it, what will happen to this. But we like to see if it's successful. We like to see this message saying that driver loaded, compile. We are expecting some server error because this application doesn't have any driver yet. So this is a typical error message you may be able to see. Java language class not found exceptions. Basically saying what we are trying to load here. Package name all the way to driver is not loaded because we are using standard JDK only. So here add jar folder, browse your MySQL driver, select it, that's the one. So now your project has a MySQL driver. You should be able to run this program. See the driver loaded. That means everything is in order. So every Java project, if you're going to use a MySQL database, you must add at least once. You have to add your database driver, in this case MySQL driver. Now try to establish your connection with MySQL database or DBMS. So class name is connection as connection and CONN. Driver manager get connections. Again, this has to be very specific according to the database you are going to use. So I'm using again MySQL. So JDBC MySQL localhost 3306. Database name is test. User and password for accessing the database is user1 and pass1. Let me import connection class. And then you need to report Java, SQL, then driver manager class. Again, it says that you need to do exception handling for SQL exception class. Okay, but exception handling is useful when you're dealing with a file system or a database and networking. So this is the typical way of using exception handling. Usually, database management system, you may need to catch two exceptions. One is class not found exception. Another one is SQL exception. Those are sufficient enough in general. Again, you may have this problem. You may not have this problem. Your server time zone. Again, I'm outside the UTC time zone, so depends. So let me copy paste the error message. So if you look at here, server time zone value unknown is registered. I'm using localhost with UTC. So here you will remember previously we say question mark. We can set server time zone manually equal to UTC. That way I can avoid the problem with time zone. Okay. So database collected. So if you are in UTC zone, you don't have to do that. But if you are outside the United States or you are different time zone, you may need to set up this manually to avoid this error message. Normally what we need to do at the beginning is we initialize our application saying we need to create a table we are going to use for the applications. So I'm going to use that, okay. First we need to do is create a statement using statement class. Somehow this doesn't quite work, so let me type it manually. Import statement is under Java SQL statement. Let me import the class. Once you create a statement, you should be able to execute. It depends, okay? So normally what you can do is, if you look at SQL, there are most likely drop table, create table, something you don't expect to get returned. For example, insert, update, or delete statements. You can use this. You can eject your statements. Select is different, okay? We are using different things. But let's say, let me start with the create. I will eventually demonstrate all of them, but let me begin with the create table. Without table, there's nothing much we can do. So create a table. So let me type the SQL text. I will just say SQL text or SQL, up to you. Null value, here SQL text. Because we are going to look at multiple statements, so let me separate it. Normally I like to type SQL or SQL syntax, capitalize it for reserved word. So employee. It's always a good idea to add additional space at the end. Your SQL text. Parts are up to 6 characters long, not null, comma. I'm going to have 5 different fields. So name parts are, let's say 25, not null. Means this field cannot be empty, or this column cannot be empty value. So age, I will use int, stands for integer in MySQL. Not null, again, we must have a data for that. And then gender, I'm going to use a char, character value, single, not null. One more to go. Address. Parts are 25 characters long. We close the statement. You don't have to include semicolon, okay? With this in your SQL statement, so don't undo that. Statement here, what we are looking at here is exact update. If you go all the way down, next one, here if you look at the comments, it says that you can use exact given statement. If you go a little bit more down, it says that you may use with insert, update, delete. So basically, data manipulation language, you can use it, what we call as a DML in database. So exact given SQL statement. Let's see whether we can actually list to this sentence. Table created. I already have a table, so it should give us some warning or error. Here I say table already exists. That's what I expected. Normally, it's a good idea to initialize your table at the beginning, of course. But the only way we do it is not a best practice, but we assume that if there's an existing table, we remove it. So what we call it as a drop table. For this demonstration, whenever we run this program, we drop table, create a new table, eventually insert dummy data, then update and delete, and print it out all again. That's the idea of this exercise. Let's say employee table drop. Sorry, that should be a double quotation. Let me go up. Null file. Okay, or says that driver is loaded, collected database, table drop, and table created. So let's have a look. So we are looking at the last one, collected. There's a database name called test. There is a table. View data here. Of course, it's an empty table, but at least we know that we have a table. Means we just create one table. Maybe I'm going to do one more and then I will stop for today. If we have a table, we like to see some data. So let me insert some dummy record to employee table. We are eventually going to use exact update method for inserting dummy record. So here insert into employee. In general, you don't have to list all these columns. If you are not sure or a different order, you may list it wherever you want. So number, name, age, and address in order. And then values. Because I have more than one value, so I will say values. And then you can type the dummy data for E0001 for number, 100 for name, 21 for age, and for gender, New York for address. That doesn't do anything. Again, we have to exec update methods. So exec update. That actually send the SQL text to database and will process the query. So run file. Okay, have a look. Yes, there is one record. Okay. So let me add maybe 2 more. One is not enough. Okay. Because I'm going to update 1 record and I will remove 1 record. So at least I need to have a 3. Here again, it's the same order. So it is not necessary, so I'll remove. Don't forget to add the additional space. It's easy to make a mistake. Number 2, let me just add this one first, and then I will demonstrate what I mean by you should consider adding 1 space. Female, same place. It is not necessary, so remove, because I'm going to have the same order as columns we have. 3, I will say George. 40. So let's say if you don't have the space, let's see what happens. Let me print the statement so you can see why that can be a simple mistake. So here it said you have an error in your SQL statement. So if you look at the statement employee and values, there is no space. It recognizes 1 word. So there should be a space, okay? Employee, space, and or you can add a space before value. Normally I do that at the end. So whenever you have a multiple statement in SQL or SQL, please add 1 space at the end so you can avoid that simple mistake. Okay, let me continue. I think I stopped somewhere around insert statement last night. So here we are going to continue with update. So we should be able to update employee data or record. Then eventually I will show you delete, and then last one might be select statements. So that should be good enough for simple JDBC tutorial. So update employee data. We are not using any class, so looks very simple. Let me just introduce new data set for 1 employee called E0001, and his name is John. 30 years old and male. Again, even though it's the same data set, but let me just type it so that I can demonstrate you can actually change your data in your employee 1 with everything. So let me just, even though it's the same data set, let me just do that. So update employee set name. Again, don't forget you need a single quotation plus name. That depends on John. Single quotation again. We have multiple columns, so comma. Continue, age. Age you don't need a single quotation because it's integer value. 1 space, don't forget. Leave 1 space, make it more readable. Plus here, and then gender. Gender you need quotation marks because it's a character value. Plus gender. quotation mark, comma, last one is address. Double quotation, so you need a single quotation plus address. Single quotation and with the double quotation, okay? Then say semicolon at the end of your SQL text. I mean, we don't want to update every record, so let's say where number equal to num, which is let me make it some space here, make it more readable. It looks like 2 space. Here number depends on given input, which is E0001. So once you finish, that's how it looks like. We are going to use exec update. Pretty much we are going to use exec update for everything except the select statement. So let me remove that. Copy that one. So here I will say update it. So that one is not necessary now, so remove. If you want, you can check your database first before you continue. Let me just continue. So delete employee data. Again, I need to have at least one employee number, so that I will remove or delete only one record, or that particular employee record. As you know, if you don't specify, you are removing everything from your table. So delete from employee here where number equal to number, which is E00003. Don't forget to add the single quotations. For SQL statement, you need the single quotations. STMT exec update SQL text. Let me copy that, paste it, change to table. I think I say employee record, delete it. This make more sense. Let's see. So we drop table, create table, update, delete. One more to go. Last one is running SQL select statement. This one we have to use exec query. I will show it to you eventually. And we need to use class called reject set. Don't worry, it's not difficult to use. Here, this is eventually what we are going to use. Says that SQL statement to be sent to the database. Typically static SQL statement called select. So let me just copy paste it. So let me revise it. Send to database what we are sending. SQL select statement. Okay. So SQL text select everything from employee table. So here SQL text, semicolon, that's it. We need to import result set class. It's always a good idea to type it at least once so you can get familiar with some certain syntax. The result set class should be imported. So basically 5 of them you should import. Okay, collection data, driver manager, and then statements, and then this time result set. So result set is going to have multiple employee records. Then you can browse or you can iterate it using index value or index number of the column, or also you can use the name of the column. So rs next, this basically saying do we have more record. So it works like some sort of pointer at the end of a record. So if you have a 10 record, when it reaches to 9, it will return true value. Means there's one more record. If you reach to at the end of a record, there's nothing new or nothing more, then it will say false. So it will give you some sort of a way to process your table. So while rs next, let me make it simple at this point. Result set has a multiple way of processing data. Here we are going to get string value using column index. You can also use a column label or column name. So at this point we are going to use a column index. Be careful to say first column is number 1. It's not an array, okay? The first column is number 1, not 0. Second value, again, this is supposed to be a name. So string, because the varchar is comparable with a string data type in Java. Here, next one is age. It is int. Again, get int. Next one is char. We don't have a char. We have to use a get string. rs. And then last one is address, means get string. So if you have 5 columns, you start with number 1 to 5. Not number 0 to 4. Okay. 5 columns means 1 to 5, okay? Let me print now. It's straightforward. Let me print. So string that one. Let me add one tab key so that there will be some space between the value. I will do the same thing. One tab key. Remove one space or 2. One tab key. Last one, okay. So at this point, we are going to retrieve value or record using the index number of the column in employee table. So it just lead to record. We eventually insert 2, 3, and then update 1 and remove 1. So there should be to record. Okay. There's another way of processing result set. It's more obvious but less efficient. So we can use the name of the column. So let me copy. Instead of typing, I'm going to just copy paste it here. Copy paste it all. Let me remove it. So you can use the column name, means NO, number, instead of column index. So here it says that column label refers to column name. Okay. So I'm going to continue to use that. So say name, age, gender, and the address. Address, comment it out. Output is exactly same. Okay. There's a bit of a spacing issue, but it's exactly same. So you can use a result set to iterate actual record from the table. The last one is making sure you close the collection with the database once you finish your job, or once you finish your processing data. If you no longer need the collection, you can close it. This time, let's use MariaDB JDBC collector rather than MySQL. So let me show you how to change JDBC driver. So if you look at here, line number 28, we are using MySQL, comment it out. So here we are going to use MariaDB JDBC driver, class for name. Syntax is org MariaDB JDBC dot driver. So let's go up. I save it to JDK installation directory. So this is the one, MariaDB Java Clients 2.6.0. The collections, we have to use a different URL. So comment it out. Next line, I'm going to copy paste it. MariaDB. So everything is same. Instead of MySQL, we change to MariaDB. Then server time zone, we don't need that. So remove it. Everything is exactly same. Database test is same, username, password same. Every other coding is same. Okay. Let's see. Exactly same as a MySQL. Let me quickly have a look. We use MySQL, change to MariaDB. That's okay. Collection on line number 41. Yes, make sure that you don't need a server time zone. That's what you need for MySQL only. I'm going to look at prepared statement. That is actually interface you can enable to create a parameterized SQL statement. So main idea is you can execute the precompiled SQL statement without parameters. So let's get to the code. So if you look at here, we have a create table. Then if you go down, there are 3 insert statements. Inserting 3 is the SQL statement. Look at the last one. So I'm going to copy paste it. This time I'm going to demonstrate how to use a prepaid statement. So main idea is we use a precompiled SQL statement with a parameter. This time we may end up with using 5 parameters. So let's say prepaid statement. I will call it as a prepaid statement collection. This time we are going to use prepaid statement instead of create statement. So idea is here sending parameterized SQL statement to the database. Please try to read the description. So here instead of actual value, let's say number 4, we have 5 columns. We're going to replace with a parameter. Okay, question mark represent 1 parameter. So 1 here. That's for second column. Third and fourth and fifth. We have 5 columns, so we have 5 question marks. Each question marks represent parameter. Here, of course, we need to import prepaid statement. So let's look at use setter to set the values for the parameter. So you can guess that we need 5 setters for 5 parameters that actually referring to 5 different columns in the table. So here, prepaid statement, we are going to use a set string. They have all our other different data types. But the first one is employee number E0001, so string type. So number 1 represents the first column, SQL text. We can use E004, actual value. That refers to parameter. So let's say 5 of them. Second one, number 2 refers to second parameter. 4 and 5, okay. So it does not start with the 0, start with number 1. Jenny, I say 26 is a number, we don't need a quotation. So this should be set int. Next one is character. Last one is address. So I will say parameter 1. That refers to first parameter. The last one refers to the fifth parameter. So once we prepare a precompiled SQL statement, we can execute this statement using exec update methods. That's it. Okay, that's going to insert 3 in statement using exec update, and then the fourth one we're going to use a prepaid statement. So let me connect to database. Let's have a look. There are somehow 1 to 4 of them. Okay, so number 3 is missing. That's okay. So let me continue. I will fix that problem later on. So let me demonstrate next one. That was an insert. We can actually use with update and delete as well. So this time I'm moving into update SQL statement. So let me make a comment. Okay, I will copy paste it. So I'm going to insert parameter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with question mark. One question mark. Again, we replace with a question mark, or we can say parameter, one more parameter. That's it. Again, there's one more. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 of them. So we need the prepaid statement. So let me create a prepaid statement. I already declared, so let me just use the object name. So we are going to use setter for the parameter. So let me just copy paste the comment. And everything will be exactly the same. Prepaid statement. First one is set string. number 1. First one should be number. One to 6 of them, sorry, 1 to 5 of them. Second one is age. Here, age has to be int. Okay. Third one is gender. That's a bit tricky case. Here is incomparable type. Okay, there's a string, but there's no such a thing called set character. So we use a string value of gender. So we do type conversion. We change to string value from character value. Next one will be address. Then number. I think the person should be name. Seems okay, that's all. Here should be prepared statement. XAMPP precompiled SQL statements already there, so we don't have to pass anything. And seems okay. So originally we have Andrew. We are going to change to John. Everything else remains same. So instead of Andrew, we change to John. Everything else same. Okay. So prepared statement for update SQL statement that actually work. Let me continue with here delete statement. So I try to make a minor change here using prepared statement interface. Straightforward. Okay, here we will say maybe number 2. Here we need to insert parameter. Again, connection prepared statement with the SQL text. Then we can use set methods. This case set string. Number 1 and happen to be num. That's correct. So that refers to first parameter. There is only one parameter, and all. Prepared statement. Actual parameter, we don't need that, so remove it. That's it for delete prepared statement. So it's going to remove second record and then third record as well. So record number 2 and 3 disappear. Okay, we remove that. Okay, one with prepared statement, one with just normal statement. Let's continue. Look at another one. Select statement. This time I may need to make a minor change. So let's say select everything from employee. I need to introduce parameter, so I will say where condition. So let's say everyone is over 20 years old, so we have more than one record. So let me quickly saying that where employees over 20 years old, so that we can send the parameter over 20. So question mark. Then instead of statement, I will change to prepared statement. Just in case, let me just put the comment. So prepared statement here and equal to connection, prepared statement. Again, same story, we will say SQL text. We need a value 20, so age equal to 20. Then we can send the parameter using set methods. So set int number 1, only one parameter, so number 1 tester 1 age. Prepared statement, we don't need a parameter inside, so remove it. Again, there's a strange, okay, explicit type with bar, okay, already declared result set. So let me make a comment. Okay, comment it up. I declare twice. Okay, everything is same in while loop. It's exactly same, no changes. So here, again, it works as it is. We see two records, employee 1 and 4. Let me have a look quickly whether there's any mistake or not. Seems okay. Seems okay. Where update? Maybe I will copy that statement here. Add one comments. Update statement. Seems okay. Delete. Seems okay. Select statement. Again, just missing one comment. Other than that, seems okay. In this tutorial, we're going to look at natural injections. I will give you one example. When you withdraw money from your bank account to transfer to someone else, you should have a sufficient amount of money in your account If it's not, your transaction should be cancelled. So that's the kind of idea of a transaction. So let me give you an idea here. Auto commit, which is already on. So whenever you insert the data, it will be effective right away. So we're going to look at how that actually works. Please read the description carefully. So auto commit mode is on, means it's true because it has a boolean value. And then we can work with commit or rollback methods. That's the idea of transactions. Okay. You can use with insert, update, delete, and then DDL statement, data definition language, like a create, alter tables. So by default, set auto commit is true. So I'll keep it as it is for now. Then I will change back to false so that I can demonstrate transactions. So line up 48, that's the first one you need to set it. If you don't do anything, it's already there with the truth value. So let's look at create employee table. I'm going to add one more column called salary. I'm going to use a numeric 7,2. In MySQL specific, you can use a decimal, but I like to use ANSI SQL numeric. Here we say salary for the last column. I will say monthly salary 4,000. Again 2,000. And let's change to 4,000. 4,500. Here we need one more parameter. So let me copy, paste it. So last one remain as a salary. So we change to let's say 3,000. This time we have to use a set double. Let me add here double salary equal to 3,000. And then here scanner input. A scanner class. So let's say enter salary. So it's going to wait for the input for, let's say, 2,000, 3,000, for example. Salary equal to, again, parameter. Here, let me copy, paste it. Prepare statement here, there will be, that should be salary. Then again, should be set double. Here, let's add one more, copy, paste it. That should be salary. Again, there should be a double. So I'm going to type manually yes or no. So let's say string answer equal to input. Next. So depends on my answer, yes or no. Let's say equals ignore case, because I may type capital Y or lowercase y. If its answer is yes, commit, then I will say commit. Just read the description carefully, say make all changes made since the previous commit, rollback. So copy paste it. If answer is no, I need to do a rollback. Say undoes all changes made in the current transactions. So if I say no, I should not pay salaries or anything to do with transaction should be cancelled. The last one I will say incorrect input. Let me make some comments so I can see what's going on. Committed successfully and then rollback successfully. So I may need to add a rollback because if it's incorrect input, we should not continue. So let me just roll back our current transactions. Normally everything is done, then whether it's commit or rollback, we like to set it back as normal. So we say set auto commit is true. So let's have a look. By default it's already true. So if I type 2000, okay, there is a syntax error. Something to do with the salary. Okay. Yeah, there is a missing comma after address before salary. So just add the missing comma. Let's say 2000. Okay, do I want to do this? Yes. Committed successfully. So let's look at database. Run it. We have a two record. Okay. So let's look at the transaction this time. If I say false here, default is true. So if I say no for transactions, everything will be rolled back. So for the demonstration, I said yes. So we get the same result. This time, I'm going to say no. I'm going to enter same data, 2000. No. Let's see what happens. So refresh. So all transaction has been cancelled. Okay. Just in case, refresh. Nothing in it. Okay. There's no insert, no delete, no update. That's the idea of using transactions. So normally you have a chance to undo. So if I say A, incorrect input, again it won't do anything because I'm going to do call for rollback methods. So nothing will be done. Exactly same. So here, run it again. There's nothing there, okay? That's exactly what we want. Again, main idea of transaction is set auto commit. By default is true. We need to change to false. So look at the description. Please read the description carefully. So by default, okay, this is true. You can use transaction for insert, update, delete, and then DDL. Let me go have a look here. Everything seems okay. So far seems okay. This update statement so according to previous statement, I may need to add the salary. Okay, I know I'm not using this, but just in case, let me update it. So let me put comma. I made the comments, then I will add salary. Again, I don't need a single quotation because it's a numeric value. Okay, that's good enough. Let me remove the comments. Let me continue have a look. Again, for result set, we have result set for the column name, also index. So let me just remove the comments so that I can add the salary. So we have 6 columns. So let me add one more column. The last column will represent salary of employee. So it should be double. Integer value 6. Or you can say index value 6. So let me just type it, load successfully. Let me add that additional sentence. Make it clear. Let me learn it. So 2000 again. Yes, commit successfully. So everything is working in order. Let's say 2000 again. This time I'm going to say no. Roll back successfully. So there shouldn't be anything, okay? Let me quickly have a look one more time. So it's a long coding for over a few days, so I may make a mistake somehow. Yeah, there is one mistake here. Statement exec update is missing. So let me just add it. So it's going to add the 4 records, okay? Again, a simple mistake, but it's nothing to do with the transaction example. It's okay. Next one seems okay. Seems okay. In this tutorial, we're going to look at patch processing. So if you look at here, we have multiple statements for 1, 2, 3, 4 insert statement. We can group them together as one single patch so that we can process it in order. So let's say 81 exec statement, we can all make it as comment or comment it out. If you want to use a patch processing, you have to be a bit more careful. So it's always a good idea to use with transactions. And it means that you need to use a prepared statement and transactions. So auto commit, you should turn it off at the beginning. Otherwise, while you are updating, inserting at the same time, you are deleting record, there might be corrupted data sets. So usually, it's a good idea to use transactions as well. You can do multiple statement as a group and process it as a patch. But no matter what, it should be part of transactions. So there are 4 statements. So let me copy paste it 4 times. 3 more times. So here we have first one. Number 1, let me just copy the dummy data set and do 21. I'm looking at line number 80. Mail, that's okay, 4000. Let's look at the second record, okay. E002. So now we change our first record to be parameter, 5 of them. Sorry, 6 of them. Yeah, 6 of them. So this time we are going to look at second record, employee number 2. That should be Jennifer. Sorry, 5 years old. Same. Salary will be 4000. Okay. So let me just copy paste it. There are 6 parameters. And then record number 3. That should be George, 40 years old, male. Okay, then salary should be 4500. Everything is same, okay? So let me copy, paste it. 6 parameters. So let me here, if we look at line number 126, like previous one, prepared statement. We are not going to use that, okay? So what we are going to do is here, prepared statement. There's another one called exec batch. So it says that it will all commands exec successfully. So we are using prepared statement and exec batch. Then you may like to know how many rows are affected by your process or batch process. So let me save it as array. It's going to give us integer value. So if there are 3 rows affected, we know that there are 3 numbers will be there. So we report to array size called affected rows dot length, means 3 transactions. In this case, 4 of them. It's going to return number 4. Exec update, 3 of them, 1 prepared statement, 4. 4 statement will be added to batch process. So we call it as a add batch. So idea is we are adding prepared statement as a group. That they call it as a prepared statement dot add batch. So we do the same thing. Prepared statement we added. So how many? 4 of them. So 3 more. 1 here. There's 1 more, and the last one. So we have 3 add batch methods. That's all going to be processed with the exec batch. So 4 rows are affected. That's correct. I will say yes. Let's have a look. Seems okay. 1, 2, okay. 2 black code, that's correct, because we have 2 delete statement, that's why. Let me run it again, say 2000. This time I will say no thank you. Roll back. So there shouldn't be anything. Exactly. So batch process is useful, but you have to use with the caution, okay? Try not to use with normal statement. You have to use with transactions. So there are straightforward syntax. You have to use add patch. Eventually, you can use exec patch. If you want to see the result, you can use array at the end. That's all. Thank you.